was trying to hold together for everyone's sake, not for Ukrainian sake, for everyone's sake. And I loved what South African leader said. We are not here to lift or ease any sanctions. We are here to negotiate of purchase, drum roll, of Ukrainian and Russian grain. Of Ukrainian and Russian grain. Words have meaning, and when you put them in a certain order, they create a statement. When a South African says Ukrainian grain first, that means a priority. Even in England, when you have fish and chips, you don't say, I will have chips and fish, because fish is more important on that dish. And when the South African says Ukrainian and Russian, not Russian and Ukrainian, because most of Russian grain was stolen from Ukraine. Stalin did the same when he was in charge. They did it for generations, and nothing changes in Russia. Because Russia is a terrorist state.
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 And yes, they did officially voted that Russia is officially a sponsor of terrorism. Yes, they officially voted that it's a dictatorship. Stating the obvious. Stating the obvious. But I urge those who think that you can rationalize and you can negotiate with Russia. Crimea was not enough for them. I saw Boris Johnson's interview the other day, very recent one, and he says the biggest mistake that Europe and the world did, they underestimated Putin after we were weak and we didn't do enough in 2014. So those who think that if it's frozen, that we can stay at the borders where we are right now, it won't. He will gather more forces and he will start again. How many Chechen wars there was? There was one or two. They could have been more, but they just got bored of doing what they do. So them attacking Ukraine was a direct result of inaction of the world. And this is why Zelensky so relentlessly is flying around the world. I think no pilot in the world flown more air miles than our president. And he asked for air defense. He asked for F-16s for one simple reason: to make our sky safe for our people, especially civilians who are being bombed all the time for 599 days. Air defense for Ukraine.
Air defense for Ukraine.
Air defense for Ukraine.
Air defense for Ukraine.
F-16s 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 for Ukraine.
And I learned yesterday, we cancelled our rally for health and safety, but I learned yesterday we had one of the smallest demonstrations I think we had since 2014 here, yeah? Me, John and Ames, we went for a walk here in London, and I learned that John here, that posters that you see over there, that speak truth in a very vivid and unique way. In St. Albans, between 12 o'clock noon and 2 p.m. every second Wednesday of the month, he calls a one-man protest, just to show people the truth. Those messages that say only few words, but speak very loudly. An English person, like my ex-colleague, by the way, we are both, I'm the youngest, he retired when he felt like it, like we both were in the Metropolitan Police. So an Englishman decides, you know what I'm gonna do? Every second Wednesday, I'm gonna go to St. Albans for 2 hours, sometimes longer. Sometimes people join him, sometimes people don't. But he does it. and he stands for Ukraine, an Englishman who sees injustice, who sees that freedom and peace is being destroyed and trampled on. And he says, you know what? I don't speak very much publicly, but I will show publicly what I believe in and what I think is the truth, and we agree with him. Because what he does is very important. So it doesn't matter if it rain or shine. Every Wednesday at 6, every Saturday at 4, every Sunday at 3. Sometimes we change the timing a little bit, but we will inform if you just follow Support Ukraine London on Instagram or social media for an update. But we gather here. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's around 10 of us. Sometimes it's few hundred of us. It does not matter how many people come. We will come. Whoever comes, we will bring our flag, because we stand for freedom and peace. For freedom and peace and nothing else, which is very important. There is no other narrative for a nation. We want to be part of Europe. We want to be part of NATO. Putin says it's unacceptable and it's not open for debate. Guess what? No one ever asked him. He said it's unacceptable for NATO border to expand. Guess what? While Ukraine is standing so firm for 599 days, Finland is now part of NATO. Guess what happened with that unacceptable expansion of NATO border? It got doubled. What did he do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He can threat as much as he likes. They can lie as much as they like. When they retreat, it's a gesture of goodwill. When they even hold position, yet they get more than like in one place in Ukraine on Friday, Avdiivka. When I told you last weekend that between 400 and 600 of Russian soldiers are being killed daily, well, that number now grew to a record high of 1,030 Russian soldiers got killed. Ukrainians are saying, our army is saying, their actions make no sense. Well, for any Ukrainian, for any Western person, what Russia does and what Russia says does not make any sense. Does not make any sense, because Russia is a terrorist state.
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 Stop Russia, stop the war.
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 And this is why we would like to say thank you for every single person who comes. It's gonna get colder. We will get rain. We are prepared. We bring raincoats and umbrellas for those who come to us, and you just need to ask for it, and we will bring anything that is necessary. But when it will become colder now, I emphasize this because it's very important. Like you change your wardrobe when autumn comes and it drops under 10 degrees. If you have any old winter jackets or any thermals or any other winter clothing that you don't need, it's too expensive to give to charity, but it doesn't suit you anymore or doesn't fit you. I'm sorry if it doesn't fit you anymore, but Ukraine is not a charity thing. Helping Ukraine is not a charity. Helping Ukraine is a rational thing. Helping Ukraine should be normal, because Ukraine is a European country. Ukraine is a breadbasket of Europe. I didn't even know before this invasion how important Ukraine was for Europe. I learned it only after invasion. I was told by my Ukrainian friends. This is why, if you want to help, you can speak to one of the people over there. And if you want to donate anything, please do. If you want to sign to Patreon, we have Patreon, and we help Ukraine regularly with donations. Some are as low as £3 or £5, I believe. So you can become a Patreon, and we will plan our expenses accordingly, because we do a lot between these war rallies. A lot is that a lot of resources is collected and sent to Ukraine. And as usual, we're gonna finish